Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to Space Month on the channel. After last week's adventures in Mag 23 Guadalcanal, we're moving back to space for the month. Game number 6 on my Tac Up Wargaming list today is going to be the first big game of the month as we play Space Empires 4X by GMT Games. In the solo mode for this game, we're taking on the Doomsday Machines and trying to destroy them before they get rid of our home planet. So I think everything is set over here. Let's move over to the main game area and check the shot over there. It might be a little bit hard to see what all we've got up here, but Altair is up here, our home planet. We've got our 3 scouts up here. We'll take our first look at one of these. The E is the order it fires in. 3 is what it hit. 3 or less is what it hits on. Defense of 0 and can take 1 hit on one hull size. We've got our colony. We've got 3 colony ships up here, which we'll need to form colonies, and then our shipyards fire on C, and also have no defense, native, and 1 hull size. We've also got a miner, which we can use to move minerals and potentially other things that we might find while we're exploring the galaxy. But I think we are all set over here, so let's get set for round 1 and jump right in. We're going to have 3 turns and then an economy turn. So first up, we have our movement phase, so we'll move our scouts out to start exploring. We'll move our scout 1 over to L6, scout 2 to L8, and scout 3 down to K7. And what I've done is, instead of having the individual chits out, I've got the blocks to determine the galaxies for each of us, and then I've got separate draw cups. So the red cubes that are out are for our native galaxy. The white cubes represent deep space, and then the blue D10s I've got represent when the Doomsday Machines come out. We are playing on normal difficulty today, so the first Doomsday Machine will come out on turn 7 and have a strength of 2. Then the second Doomsday Machine will come out on turn 9, on the economic phase of turn 9, and have a strength of 4. And then the last one will come out on turn 10 and have a strength of 6. I'll explain that'll make more sense as we get later into the game. But movement phase is all done, so our scouts are in charge of exploring. We'll start off with Scout 1 up here at L6. Actually, that's L6. I've got my red draw cup over here, so we'll see what comes out for Scout 1. All right, Scout 1 finds a black hole, so we could use that to potentially teleport somewhere. But we need to be very careful with that, though, because if we get a deep hole, another black hole too far out, then I believe the Doomsday Machines can also use that. I should look at that, because if I'm right, that's a very dangerous thing to have that close. Wait, Doomsdays? Oh, no, actually, wait a second. I'm thinking of warp points. Black holes, we actually have to roll to see if the scout gets destroyed. So the roll for that, I've got to refresh my memory on that. Okay, that's a roll of a 1 to 6. So I'm going to bring the dice tower down here. Actually, can I just leave the dice tower there in case we need it? Yes, I can. You have to move it out of the way a little bit. So, on a 1 to 6, Scout 1 survives. That's a 2, so Scout 1 is fine. And that black hole, does that black hole stay on the board? Oh, yes, it does stay on the board. Okay. So that stays there. And then we need Scout 2 up at L8. All right, coming out for Scout 2 is a 5 mineral cube. We may send the miner over to grab that right away. I'm actually going to put these bags of blocks on either side. That's what I'm using to keep everything separate. Then once I get the bags laid out, we'll draw for Scout 3's chit, which is down here in K7. Alright. Scout 3 has another 5 mineral. So we'll probably go harvest that on our next turn. Well, on the next round, actually, I should say. Let me find the bag as well for, here we go, for red. That way, as the chits come out and they're no longer needed in the game, I can put them back in to make cleanup a little bit quicker. Moving into turn 2, we'll continue exploring. So Scout 1 will move out to L5. Scout 2 will go to L9. Scout 3 is going to move down to J7. And we'll send the miner to pick up the 5 minerals at K7. So we are all set there. Going over to Scout 1 at L5 first, we'll find asteroids, which will affect us during combat, potentially. Asteroids will, I believe, reduce the attack to 0, but let me double check that. Yep, attack level is considered to be 0. So that's what we're dealing with over in L5, which means we definitely don't want to attack in there. As for Scout 2 up at L9, I put the, okay. That's Sheldon, so that's another planet we can potentially colonize. Which means now at least we have a direction to start sending our colony ships. And then coming down to J7 for Scout 3. Cerberus, which means we actually have a couple of colony ships, and now we can send 2 of them in colonizing directions, which is very welcome. Okay, now moving into turn 3 on that note. Scout 1 is going to move to L4. Scout 3 is going to come back up to K6, because I do want to see if I need to find any warp points close. Although I think the warp points, I don't think there are warp points in the native galaxies. I think they're more out in deep space. Scout 2 is going to move out to L10 on a deep space hex. Then we're going to send a colony ship over towards Sheldon, and we're going to move another one toward Cerberus. And then Miner 1 is going to bring these 5 minerals in to our home planet. And I think we're all clear there. So now we'll move into exploration. We'll start off with Scout 1 at L4, see what he finds. Let's see, he will find a nebula, which will cut our defense technology down to 0. So another space we kind of don't want to fight in if we can help it. Scout 2 is actually going to require us over on L10 to go into the Deep Space Cup, which I've got that over here. Okay, that's a danger. Means the Scout is actually Scout 2 is actually just going to get destroyed outright, which is unfortunate. But I think our first order of business will probably need to be replacing that. So that can go back in the white bag, and then the danger cube can go back into my deep space bag in the box. I'll give that a shake up. And Scout 3 up at K6 needs another red chip coming out. Essen, so we've got another colony that we can send a colony ship to. And actually, we've still got a colony ship up at Altair, so that's actually very convenient. We don't have to send the one that we've got already heading towards Cerberus down. All right, so that's it for the exploration phase. Now we go to the economic phase. We collect our colony income, which right now is only Altair, so we get 20 colony points from that. Just to show you what I'm looking at, I've got my production sheet over here. It might be a little bit hard to read, but I'll be keeping this off shot because I'm writing everything in pencil. I want to be able to erase if I need to. So I've got 20 from that, plus my miner brought in a 5 mineral, plus my miner brought in 5 minerals. So we get 5 mineral CPs from that, which means we have a total of 25. So now we have to pay maintenance, and it's going to be 1 maintenance point per ship hull size that we've got total. All we've got right now is 2 scouts out, so we only have a maintenance cost of 2. Which means I've got a total of 23. We've got a total of 23 CP to spend. I'll need to spend at least 6 of that to get Scout 2 back. So we'll start off with the aforementioned spending on Scout 2. I believe at native ship size, yep, I can build Scouts. So 6 points for Scout. Then I'm going to spend 10 for ship size 2 so I can start building some bigger ships. And I think I'm going to just carry 7 CP over, which means I have a maintenance increase of 1. So Scout 2 can go back up to Altair where I've got my shipyards. That's mineral income, pay maintenance, purchase units and tech, place them. Then we go into increase colonies, but I haven't started any colonies yet, so nothing that I need to worry about there. So that's it for round 1. Now we're all set to start round 2. We still have plenty of time before the Doomsday Machines come out, and I definitely want to continue exploring. So I'll send Scout 1 over to L3. We'll continue exploring deep space. Scout 3 is going to move down to J6. Scout 2 is going to work his way down over to this side of the board. Okay, Scout 2 is moving out there. I'm going to send my colony ship over to Sheldon and plan on starting a colony there. Then I'm going to move this colony ship down to Essen and start a colony here. And that colony ship's going to move down to Cerberus and start a colony there. On the one hand, it's good to have... On the one hand, I don't mind having these 2 colonies on Essen and Cerberus this close together, because that'll let me get an early jump on colony CPs. But on the other hand, it can be it can potentially be a problem, but it could help me focus the attacks of the Doomsday Machines potentially. So kind of a double-edged sword that I've got to work with there. Then I'm going to send this miner over to L8 to pick up that 5 minerals and bring it in. So now we're ready to explore. Scout 1 is going to require a deep space chit. Go over to the deep space cup for that. Yep. And we are lost in space. Need to refresh my memory on what that one is. Right, the player to the right. Okay, so there's got to be a way that's modified for a solo game. I'll have to double check in the in the scenario book for the solo scenarios. No. No, it doesn't look like it. Alright, so immediately shifts it 1 unit in any direction. So the way we're going to do that is shifts it 1 unit in any direction. So it can't enter this space. The way we're going to do that is we're going to roll a d10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 is a reroll. So just in case it wasn't easy to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 is going to be a reroll. That's a 9, so it's actually moving back toward our native universe, which I don't completely mind that, to be honest. I don't think we get to, well, there's nothing there to explore right now, so we're into turn 2 of the phase. And all of our colony ship, oh, we've got to reveal, hang on, we've got to reveal J6, and that's going to take a red chit. So let's see what we find at J6. Whoops, we kind of saw it because I pulled it out the wrong way. We see that indeed it is another 5 mineral chit. Okay. That's not that completely terrible. Okay, so now we're into turn 2. Now our scouts are going to continue exploring. We'll bring Scout 1 down to K4. Scout 2 is going to head to K8. Miner at L8 is going to bring those minerals home. And Scout 3 is going to continue exploring. Well, he's going to continue exploring our universe. I'm going to move him down to I5. Is there anything else I want to do right now? There's nothing else I can do right now since the colony ships are all staying put to form colonies this round. All right, Scout 1. Actually, all 3 of our explorations this round are in native space. So Scout 1 at K4. We'll find Fione, another colony. So another direction, potentially, once we get some of these other colonies starting to develop. Another colony, another planet that we can colonize, potentially. Then Scout 3 at I5. Finding more asteroids. So another space that we don't want to fight in. And then Scout 2 at K8. Yep. Came out already, but we've got another 5 minerals. So we can send the miner out for that. Then turn 3, we're going to continue exploring. Question is, do I want to send scouts? Do I want to send my scouts? I can send 1 and 3 into deep space, and if I don't get both of them, killed, this could be a good turn to start developing some technology. Actually, I probably need to put some of my shipyards. Actually, I won't be able to scatter my shipyards yet. But I think I will take a chance and send them into deep space. So Scout 1 is going up to K3, Scout 3 is going to I4, Scout 2 is going to stay in our native universe at K9. So now we need 2 deep space chits. First up for Scout 1 at K3. Oh, actually, before we do that, we'll move the miner to L8. Now back to exploration. Yep. More asteroids. Again, another space we're not going to want to fight in. Then Scout 3. another nebula, so at least we don't get anything destroyed here. Unfortunately, the asteroids and the nebulae will not affect the Doomsday Machines. And then Scout 2, requiring a red chit. Another 5 minerals. That's very welcome. We'll definitely need to get another miner in that direction, though. That will do it for the 3 turns, so now we're into the economy phase. First up, we'll collect our colony income of 20 minerals from Altair. So we had 7 carryover. 20 colony plus 5 mineral CPs that our miner brought in. Bring us up to 32. We have to pay maintenance cost of 3 because we've got our 3 scouts out, which leaves us 29 to spend. Let's see, so what do I want to spend on here? Now that I've got another world to colonize, I do want at least another colony ship. Because we can send... We're going to have them take the long path, though. I think the plan here needs to be to bring Scout 3 up so I can explore these 2 spaces so I can send the colony ship around this black hole. Or I wait around and plan on building a shipyard down here at Essen once that becomes a developed colony that we can potentially build on. I think that's the better play, actually, because the shipyard would cost me 6 to build. So yeah, I think that's what we do. I think we'll wait for that to become a colony, but for now we're going to do some technology spending. So right now, I think we're going to spend... Build 1.5 hull points per shipyard. Okay, so we're going to spend 20 points for shipyard 2 so we can start building more. And we're not going to do anything with ship spending right now, so we're going to have 9 that we're carrying over. And we're not incurring any increased costs. And now we get to increase colonies. So now our 3 colony ships that we've jettisoned everything to start a colony for, now become 1s. So 1, which means now they'll start generating income for us in the increased colonies phase. We didn't purchase any units in tech. Well, we purchased tech. We didn't have any units to place. We increased colonies, which was nice and quick. Now we're into turn 3. And now I do want to continue exploring a little bit. Like I said, I definitely want to continue exploring this round. So I'm going to bring Scout 1 down to J4. We'll continue exploring native space. Actually, I could just as easily bring Scout 1 up here and explore... Yeah, we'll do it that way. I'll send Scout 3 into deep space in H5. Scout 2 can move over to J10, continuing to explore our universe. And then we'll bring Miner 1 down to K8, pick up that 5 minerals. Now I can bring it back up to Sheldon because we've got a colony up there that we can dump stuff off at. Is there anything else movement-wise that I want to do? I don't think so. Actually, there's nothing else I can do, so... With that, we need the... Let's grab the Deep Space Cup for Scout 3 first, down at H5. And we find... Ada, a barren world. So if we want to... We have to upgrade, we have to research terraforming, but that's also a tempting idea. Well, that's pretty far out, though, for a planet that we'd want to colonize, and very much uncomfortably close to a doomsday machine. So I'm not sure I'd want to colonize there. But now we need the red chits. First up, we'll go over to Scout 1 at J4. seem to be running a little bit out, but we got another planet over there in Athos. So that's another uncomfortably close world. But I'll have to keep an eye on that. Then we're over at J10 with Scout 2. And here we've got, oh, that's upside down. We found Vortigern over in Scout 3. So maybe another world that I want to think about colonizing, potentially. Okay, I believe all of our exploration's done there, so now we're into turn 2. We'll bring Scout 1 into native space. Then Scout 3 is going to move into H6 as well. Miner 1 is going to move up to Sheldon and dump those colony point or those CPs off in the income phase, and we'll send Scout 2 into deep space. All right, so let's start with Scout 1 over at J5. He's finding another 5 minerals. I may want to build another miner so I can send him in this direction and start picking up some of these minerals. Then Scout 3 also needs a red chit since we've got the red chit cup in our hand. More 5 minerals. So yeah, we're definitely going to be looking to... I'm definitely going to be looking to build a miner in this round, in this coming economic phase. Then Scout 2 is up here at K10 in deep space. So here we'll find... Ooh, a space wreck. We may want to get... I may send the miner out for that next. We'll have to see, though. There's definitely a temptation here of a couple things that I want to do this round. Heading into turn 3, though, I think we'll bring the miner down and get those minerals next. Let's see, Scout 2 is going to continue exploring in deep space. Scout 3 is going to explore our universe, and Scout 1 is going to come up to K5. Alright, so since I'm on this side, we'll go get a deep space chit in K11 for Scout 2. Danger, so we actually get Scout 2 destroyed. Second time we've had Scout 2 taken out this game, which is unfortunate, but no help for it. Which means we'll have to replace the Scout. Let's see, and then we need a red chit for Scout 1 at K5. More 5 minerals. And then 1 for Scout 3 at H7. Maybe we're just going to shake it up like that and then pull one out. There we go. And we pull out another nebula. That's a little far forward space anyway, which I normally don't like fighting forward when I can avoid it. Then moving into the economy phase, we start by collecting our colony income, which we had 9 carry over. So we have 23 in CP income, plus another 5 from minerals that the miner was able to bring in, for a total of 32, 37. Paying maintenance cost of 2 because we've got 2 scouts out, which is 35. So we've got 35 CP to spend. Our first order of business is going to be 6 to replace Scout 2. Then we're going to spend 5 to bring out our second miner. So that's 11 on ship spending. I've got 24 to spend. Going to do any technology upgrades right now. I could also potentially build one of my shipyards at one of my more forward colonies. Which I think I am going to move a shipyard. I think I'm going to build a shipyard at Sheldon, which is actually up here, mostly so I can get down to Vortigern more easily. So we're going to spend 6 CP. Yep, we're going to spend 6 more to build at Sheldon, so that's going to bring me up to 17 on ship spending. And I'm going to spend... what does exploration do for me? CAs. I believe I don't play with CAs here. Do I? Oh, cruisers, I do. I think what we're going to do here, though, is we're actually going to spend 15 on tactics. Since I do know that the Doomsday machines are coming eventually, I want to be ready for those. So 3, so that's purchasing units and tech. So I'm going to have 3 that I'm carrying over into round 4. Next we place our units. I'm placing a shipyard at Sheldon, but both of these have to be placed at Altair for the time being. And then we increase colonies. So the ones here, so the ones that are currently out become 3s. And our CP income should start to pick up here. All right, that's increasing colonies, which means now we're into round 4, and we may be starting to get ready here soon for more combat-oriented upgrades, because we've got 3 more rounds before the Doomsday machines start coming. So let's move into round 4. All right, so first order of business is going to be to bring these minerals from Miner 1 back up to Sheldon. Miner 2 is going to move down to K6 with a plan of going after some of these minerals that are around here. Scout 1 is going to move to J6. Scout 3 is going to move over to H8. And Scout 2 is going to start working down toward working on the middle of the board here. The only one that's in a space to explore is Scout 3, and that's going to be in a red space. I should have 6 chits left. Yep. We'll give these a shake up. And then we'll just pull one out. More 5 minerals. Which makes me kind of want to put a colony down here at Vortigern. That might be an order of business that I deal with that I work on in the next couple of rounds. Turn 2, Scout 1 is going to move down to I6. Scout 3 is going to head into deep space at G7. Scout 2 is going to move to J8. Miner 1 is going to go after this space wreck. And then Miner 2 is going to pick up this 5 minerals with the plan of bringing that back to Essen. Right, so now we're into exploration. Scout 1 and Scouts 1 and 2 are both in native space. Scout 1 first at I6. Finding another 5 minerals. That miner is going to be busy. And then Scout 2 at J8. We already gave this a shake. And we're pulling out Antares. So we've got a certifiable gauntlet around Altair if we can set it up. Then Scout 3 is at G7, but that's going to take a deep space chit. So we'll bring that cup over here. And that one will find another space rack. So now we've got options. If we can get the miner, although that's a long wreck to pull from. It is a tempting idea to research terraforming so we can turn Ada into a colony, but man, that is going to take a while to set up. So we're in turn 2 right now. Turn 3, this miner is going to move and grab this space wreck with a plan on bringing that up to Sheldon or Vortigern if we can get a colony there first. But I think we're more likely headed back for Sheldon with that. Scout 1 is going to move to I-7. Scout 2 is going to come to J9. Where's Scout 3? Scout 3 is going to continue exploring in deep space. All right, so let's grab the deep space cup for G8 first. Yet another space rack. Wow, I didn't realize there was that much carnage out in deep space. Apparently, the Doomsday machines must have been coming out down there and causing a lot of carnage there. Then we've got 2 red chits, one at I-7, the other at J9. And at I-7 first we will find Omicron. So yeah, we've definitely got a gauntlet around we've definitely got a gauntlet around Antares if we can set that up. Then at Scout 2, there's only 1 chit left in the red cup. So now we need to start exploring deep space. Another 5 minerals. The miner is kind of busy at the moment though, so we're not going to be doing much there. Now we're into our economy phase, which means we are collecting a lot of income here. So we're collecting 29 colony income, plus another 5 from minerals that our miner brought in, which will bring us up to a total of 37 again. Paying maintenance cost of 3, so we have 34 to spend. Let's see, what do we want to do for 34 CP? Well, we are going to spend at least 8 points to build a colony ship, and that one's going to go to Sheldon. Do I want to put a shipyard at Cerberus? You know, it's actually not a terrible idea. It's going to cost me another 6 to do that, so I think I will. Oop, there we go. Let's see, then I've got 20 left and I can carry forward up to 30. Let's see here. I've got 20 left. But I think I'm going to put that into attack. Again, I need to have an eye on combat coming in, and I'm going to have a lot of colony income coming in that turn. So we've incurred no maintenance increase. So the colony ship is going to go to Sheldon. The shipyard is going to go to Cerberus, and then we increase colonies, so all of our 3s now become 5s, become fully developed colonies. Okay. All right, so we've increased our colonies, which means now we're into round 5. And And we still have 2 more rounds before the Doomsday Machines start coming. So let's see if we can start maybe building another colony or 2, but then start getting some combat ready. Looking at our current situation, I'm kind of rethinking where I want the colony. Where I want the colony the colony from the ship that I put out here at Sheldon. I originally was going to move it down to Vortigern, but that could actually be a bit of a problem. Well, a lot of that's going to depend on where the Doomsday Machines start coming out. Because I know if a Doomsday Machine comes out here, it's going to have to run the gauntlet. If a Doomsday Machine comes out here, it's basically going to have a straight shot in. The ones out here on either side are definitely going to have a straight shot. This one's going to have to run the gauntlet, something of a gauntlet as well, although it's going to be moving toward... It's probably going to have to move toward Essen first. So, yeah. I think for now, while I think about that, I'll start off by moving the Miner 1 up to L10 with the space that's towing the space wreck. Scout 2 will pick up our last chit in native space. Scout 3 is going to continue exploring deep space over by the Doomsday Machine, and Scout 1's going to work out toward deep space as well, stopping in this nebula. So Scout 2 is going to grab the last red chit out of the red cup. And here we will find... What is this? Anion, another barren world, which means that may increase the need to research terraforming, but we do need to keep the fact that we're only 2 turns away from the Doomsday Machines coming in mind. And they're going to be coming in pretty strong. So we do need to be aware of that. Then Scout 3 is in deep space down here at F8. And here we will... Oh boy. Here we find a danger, which gets Scout 3 destroyed. But I think we're slowly getting to a point... Actually, before I did that, I would have moved the... If I would have been paying attention, I would have remembered to move Miner 2 over to Essen and drop those 5 minerals off. Okay. And then the colony ship would also have moved down to K9, because I think I'm going to stick with the original plan of bringing it down to Vortigern. Turn 2, the colony ship will move there, and then we'll plan on jettisoning what we need to form colonies. Scout 2 is going to move to I9. Scout 1 is going to move to G6 and explore deep space. And then Miner 2 is going to grab these 5 minerals, and we'll bring those home next turn, or on this next turn. Exploration needs deep space. We'll start off with G6 for Scout 1. That's a warp point. This is what I was worried about earlier with the Doomsday Machines, when I thought the black hole was what did warp points. So we need to be very careful about where these warp points end up. So if we find... I believe we've got to go 1-to-1 on the warp points. Let me just double check that. And of course it's not telling me... warp points. Here we are. Okay, 3 warp point 1s and 3 warp point 2s. So we can go 1-to-1, 2-to-2. Pretty self-explanatory, I would think. And then Scout 2 needs a deep space chit as well. And we get Scout 2 destroyed as well. How delightful. I think the question now, though, is how much do I care about exploration? Because honestly, we might have enough exploration now. Well, I was going to say we might have enough exploration now that we might want to turn and focus on combat, but I'd like to get some of these deep space markers explored. Plus, we are only 2 turns away again from the first Doomsday machines coming out. So the question is, do we ride our current colony income plus the colony income we're going to start getting as Vortigern starts to develop? We'll have to see what happens in the economic phase. Turn 3, the Scout 1 is going to continue exploring deep space, moving down to F6. Miner 1 is going to bring the space wreck in, and Miner 2 is going to bring more minerals into Cerberus. Scout 1 will pull a deep space chit. Another barren world, Cobol, which is right by the Doomsday machine, spawn on 5-6, which is not great necessarily. So that's it for that. Now we go into the economic phase. We'll start off with colony income, which will be 20 for Altair, 1, 2, 3 fully developed colonies for another 15. So that's 35. Plus we brought 5 mineral points in for a total of 40. We only have the 1 scout active, so 39 to spend. But we also get an upgrade from the shipwreck that we brought in up to Sheldon. So that can go back into the bag. And we're going to be rolling on the Space Wreck Technology table. Actually, when would we officially roll on that table? Would we be rolling on that instead of a CP bonus? So we'd actually be, basically we're going through earning points now. So we would roll for that now, which will give us a free technology upgrade. I'm hoping for, geez, I don't even know what I'm hoping for right now. I think any free upgrade would be really good right now. I don't necessarily have a preference. A 6 gives us a free defense upgrade. That could actually be very handy. Let's see. So now we've got 39 CP to spend. Now I've got to decide if I care about replacing those scouts. And I don't think I do, actually. Well, so now we're in purchasing units and tech, and I'm still deciding if I care about replacing those scouts. Because we're definitely to a point where we need to start focusing on combat. And I think most of our paths to the Doomsday machines are pretty clear, so we're not worried about any kind of exploration. Maybe being able to find another warp point at least I assumed it was 1-to-1. I think it's with the same number, so 1-to-1. The question is, do I care about finding more warp points? And I think the answer right now is no. So I'm not going to replace those scouts. The question is, what am I going to do? If I'm not replacing the scouts, then I need to start getting ready to build more combat ships. So I'm going to spend 15 at least to upgrade to ship size 3. Ship size 3 will let me build cruisers now. Then we're going to upgrade... then I'm going to upgrade move, so I have a little more mobility. Which means I'll be spending 35 of my 39 CPs. And I don't think I'm doing anything for 4. No, I'm not. So I'll carry 4 CP into... So I'll carry 4 CP into round 6. But we get to increase colonies. I jettisoned everything at Vortigern to form a colony there. So we're all set there. I don't think I counted the 5 mineral CP. Yeah, I did. So that's gone. All right, we are all set for round 6, which means we have one more, which means we have this round and the next round before the first Doomsday Machine comes out in the economic phase. So let's move into round 6 and start getting ready for combat. We're going to have very quick exploration phases for sure, since I'm not replacing most of my scouts. Scout 1 is going to move over to F5, so we're continuing some deep space exploration, but not a lot. Miner 2 is going to grab 5 minerals from I6. Miner 1 is going to move down to K9 and look at grabbing the 5 minerals at J9. And I think that's all the movement we want to do there. Oh, wait, we had another 5 minerals. I'll take... I forgot we had this. This must have been delivered earlier, so I'll just take it as an extra 5 CP carryover. That can go back in the Galaxy chit bag, which hopefully is not going to go flying on me. We need a deep space chit for F5. We find a 10 mineral chit, but that's way down here in basically the middle of nowhere for us. Not exactly the most accessible in the world. Turn 2, Scout 1 is going to move up to G5. Miner 2 is going to bring those 5 minerals home, over up to Cerberus, and then Miner 1 is going to pick up these 5 minerals with the turn of beelining them for Vortigern. Scout 1 looking at G5. Deneb, yet another barren world, which could potentially be a problem since we're not, especially since we're not likely developing terraforming in this game. Turn 3, Scout 1 is going to move over to G4. Then Miner 1 is going to bring these 5 minerals into Vortigern, and Miner 2 is going to start down... I wonder if it shouldn't start down for some of these space wrecks, actually. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to see if I can get some of these space wrecks out. So I'm going to send Miner 2 down to Omicron. G4 on a deep space chit for Scout 1. Another 10 minerals. The only problem is, again, it's out in the middle of nowhere to us. And I think that's the only exploration, so now we collect colony income. Let's see, we've got 25, 35, 6. So 36 colony income, plus another 10 from minerals. 46, 55. Which means, and maintenance, I only have the 1 scout out, so I only pay 1 maintenance, which means I've got 54 to spend. So we know next round the Doomsday Machines are starting to come out, which means, do I want to start getting ready for that? Well, I do want to start getting ready for that, but I can't really make any kind of plans until I know where they're coming. So I think for now, ship size 4 would let me start building battle cruisers, which would not be a terrible idea at all. I definitely want to start getting some firepower out. So I think here we're going to spend 25 on move 3, which means my ships will be able to move 1 in turn 1 and then 2 in turns 2 and 3. So I definitely want some mobility. Do I also want to start getting some firepower out? I don't want to commit the bases until I know where those are going to be needed. Okay, so these can come off the board. Like I said, I don't want to commit the bases until I know where I need them. Let's see. What I can do is what do I have left after buying those two? After buying move 3, 29. Let's go 15 into tactics, because any advantage I can get against these doomsday machines is going to be welcome. So that'll bring me up to 40. I've got 14, actually that'll bring me up to 40 that I've spent. And I've got 14 to buy with. I am going to spend 12 of that and build my first cruiser. I do want to start developing some of my firepower out, which will bring me down to a total of 2 left, and I've incurred a new maintenance increase of 2. Let's see, then where do I want that cruiser? Do I want that forward, or do I want it... I think we're going to put it at Sheldon for now, even though I don't completely know where I need it yet. But with having move level 3, I can pretty much get it where I need it. Then we'll increase colonies, which is the colony at Vortigern, going up to a 3. We'll continue strengthening that. Round 7 is going to see the Doomsday machines come out during the economic phase. But before we get there, we get another 3 turns of normal turns, essentially. Okay, we need to get things moving here. So Scout 1 is going to move into Ada. We can only move 1 on turn 1. Miner 1 is going to move... I should probably get a scout back out here so I can start exploring over here. I didn't think I was going to care, but now I think I do. Miner 2 is going to head for H8. Am I going to grab the minerals, or am I going to go for the space wreck? I think we're going to go... I think the space wreck is more valuable. The free upgrade will be very handy there. I think I want to grab one of these space wrecks. And then Miner 1 is going to move to I9. Then into turn 2, I'm going to send Miner 2 down here to grab this space wreck. Miner 1 is going to move over to I8. And Scout 2, now that we can move 2, is going to move over to I3. And then we'll get a deep space chit for I3. We've got a supernova. I assume that is nothing good. If anything about astronomy classes is to be believed, supernovas are very bad news. Must immediately retreat to the hex it just left. Alright, so this was the space it was in. It just came all the way from here. Actually, probably the last movement because it moved 1, 2, so it moves right back to I4. which isn't necessarily bad. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily in the path of the Doomsday Machines, but I don't think it would be affected for no unit may move or retreat into this system. The Doomsday Machines wouldn't likely be moving that in that direction anyway. They would probably be moving in this direction. And before we go into turn 3, I do need to change my battery. Heading for turn 3, Scout 1 is going to move up to J3. Miner 1 is going to move into H8, but not pick up the 5 minerals there because I want the space wreck. And then Miner 2 is going to move to H7. I'm basically going to be racing a Doomsday Machine if it spawns here back up to Cerberus. Not a gauntlet I want to be running, but I'm going to have to. I'm going to have the same problem with Miner 1 picking up this space wreck, which would be an argument to turn tail and run with the 5 minerals, but I think the space wreck is going to be so much more valuable, especially as upgrades that I could really use are so much more expensive. So we're going to gamble that the first Doomsday Machine does not come out here. And then J3 needs a Deep Space Chit. And Scout 1 goes Toodaloo. Which I don't completely mind. Well, I say I don't completely mind that, but I was tossing around the idea of bringing a Scout out so I could explore on this side of the board, but I'm not sure I'm going to be doing that now, especially now that the Doomsday Machines are going to start coming out. Which brings us into the economy phase. So before we even get our income, we do need to see where Doomsday Machine 1 is spawning. So Doomsday Machine 1 is coming out at a strength of 2. So it'll have attack strength C7, defense strength 1, hull size 7, number of attacks 4. What all of that means is it reduces the number that each ship hits on by 1, takes 7 hits to destroy, and gets 4 attacks. That'll make more sense when we get into combat. So let's see where this first Doomsday Machine is spawning. An 8, so it's spawning out here, which is not necessarily well, I say that, but it's going to be heading for Vortigern. Actually, yes, it will be heading for Vortigern. So the question now becomes, am I going to be playing defense with that? Anyway, now we're into collecting our colony income, so we get 25, 35, 38. We carried 2 into the round. 38. Did we bring any minerals home? We did not. Which means we have 40. And maintenance, we have to pay 2 maintenance because of the cruiser. Which means we've got 38 to spend. So on the bright side, actually, yeah, it's going to be heading for Vortigern first. Yeah, we're probably going to need to plan on defending it. So here's the question now. Do we sacrifice Vortigern, or do we sacrifice Vortigern or try to defend it? I think knowing that this Doomsday Machine is going to be moving up through Vortigern, I think we're going to have to probably sacrifice Vortigern and plan on defending at Sheldon. So I think with that in mind, now I'm ready to commit my first base. So now I'm going to spend 12. I'm going to spend 12 on a base. Do I want to do anything with technology? Shut up, Siri. We're already at tactics level 2, so that's helpful. Let's see. Well, I think we're also going to... I definitely want to build some more firepower. I'm at ship size 3, so I can build cruisers. But I think I got to start working at getting some of the big boys out. So we're going to spend another 20 to go up to ship size 4. That way I can start putting out. That way I can start putting out my battle cruisers as well. That's going to bring me down to 32. And for 6, am I going to say F it and want to scout? No, I don't think so. I think we're going to carry those 6 forward, and I have incurred a new increase on that. The base, we're going to commit to defending Sheldon. I do want to develop some more firepower up at Sheldon before that Doomsday Machine gets there. So that will do it for. So now we increase colonies, which means Vortigern is going to become a 5-point colony now. We may be able to defend it, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. Anyway, that will do it for round 7. Round 8, and we've suddenly got our first Doomsday Machine out on the board, so we need to see about dealing with that. Miner 2 is going to make a beeline for Cerberus with the space wreck. Miner 1 is going to pick up this space wreck, and I think that's going to be it. I expect we're going to blaze through these next few turns. So we're on turn 1, no exploration happening. Turn 2, Miner 2 will bring this space wreck home. Miner 1 will bring this one here. And I think that's going to be it there. Turn 3, Miner 2 is going to go back out for 5 minerals. Miner 1 is going to bring this space wreck to Omicron, but we can't drop it here because we don't have a colony at Omicron. Then into the economic phase. Before we do that, the Doomsday Machine moves up to I-9 and is getting closer to Vortigern, so we need to keep an eye on Vortigern. Let's see, colony income is going to be 25, 35, 40. So we have 40 colony points of income. We didn't pick up any minerals, 46 total, but we do have another space wreck that we're bringing in. So we'll be rolling for another upgrade on the shipwreck table, on the space wreck table. Let's see what we get this time. Five this time gives us defense. Okay. So that's 30 CP. I won't have to spend on that. I was hoping for attack, but defense is probably going to be a good thing as well, especially if I think we're defending. Especially if I think my plans might be changing. We're going to try to defend Vortigern. Alright, so we pay maintenance of 2 for the cruiser. Yep, so that's 2, 44, and now we've got some buying to do. Let's see, what to do. I think we are going to spend 12. We are going to spend 12 to build a base, and I'm going to plan on that going to Vortigern. Let's see, then do I want to buy more firepower here? And if so, how much do I want to buy? What can I build up to right now? I'm at ship size 4, so I can build battle cruisers, which are going to cost me 15 apiece. I've got 30 left. That would almost clean me out, but it's probably worth it, since I am changing my mind and I'm going to try to defend Vortigern. So I'm going to build 2 battle cruisers. I'm going to put the base on Vortigern, and then I can build with ship size, actually with shipyards, I can build 1.5 per shipyard. So both of these have to go to Altair, but thanks to movement speed, I will have enough I will have enough to get the battle cruisers to Vortigern, and we're going to have a party up there. So I've incurred a maintenance increase of 4, I've got 2 to carry over, and I've got 4 to buy with. I've got 4 to carry over into round 9, which is also going to bring our second Doomsday Machine out during the economic phase. We don't have any colonies to increase. So we're into round 9, where we're going to have to A, deal with this first Doomsday Machine, and B, we've got a second one coming out. So let's move in and see what we're doing in round 9. Heading into turn 1, Miner 1 is going to bring us another Space Wreck up to Cerberus, which means we'll have another free upgrade coming. Then Miner 2 is going to pick up these 5 minerals. Then the battle cruisers and the battle cruiser and the cruiser are going to start moving toward Vortigern, where we're going to try to defend that from Doomsday Machine 1. Then 2, we're going to move the battle cruisers over to K9, and the cruiser is going to land at Vortigern. And then turn 3, turn 2, before we do that, the miner is going to move to J6, and I forgot to move this miner. We'll send him, or pretend we sent him over to these 5 minerals for 2 turns. 3, move him there, and then the battle cruisers will land at Vortigern, and that was a very uneventful turn 3. Now we've got the economic phase, and here we're going to be busy. So we're going to be spawning another Doomsday Machine. Let's see where Doomsday Machine 2 is going. That one's going to be spawning with a strength of 4, so it'll be a C8 attack, 2 defense, 8 hull size, 4 attacks. 2, so that's actually going, that's going to be a problem. So that one's going to be spawning up here. Which basically, well, there's no basically about it. It's got a straight shot right for Altair. It'll be going for, because there are no colonies on this side, so it's going to be making a straight shot for Altair. Doomsday Machine 1 is moving up to Vortigern, and we've got quite a party there, so I'm going to set up the battle, and we'll come back with that all ready to go. This battle setup looks a trifle busy, so let me see if I can explain what I've got going on here. I've got my battle token up here so I can track whose turn it is. Actually, I think I want that down below here, because I'm going to put the damage, I'm going to put damage up above. So I'm going to do that. And actually, I think rather than using the damage counters that I'm going to run out of in a hurry, I'm going to go get some more dice. So hang on just a second while I figure out more dice question. Here we go. I've got these tiny D6s which come in such things. Okay, now that I've got that sorted out, we'll put a die above each unit as it gets hit. The only thing that won't work for, though, is for the Doomsday Machine, so I think I will stick with a D10 for those, and I'm going to use a blue D10 to track its health. I'll put that off to the side. So we've got the units up here. Damage is going to be up here in dice eventually. Battle shit is going to move to determine whose turn it is. Green dice is what each of my units needs to hit. Gold die is what the Doomsday Machine needs to roll less than to hit my units. So first up, we're going to have the base attacking. It needs a 6 or less, or 7 or less, I should say, to hit the Doomsday Machine, and we need to do 7 damage to the we need to do 7 damage to the Doomsday Machine to take it out. That's a 7 on the dot, so 1 damage there. Battlecruiser 1 needs a 5 or less to hit. That's a 7, nothing doing there. Battlecruiser 2 needs a 5 or less. That's a 5, that'll work for another damage. And then the cruiser needs a 4 or less. That's a 10. I believe zeros are treated as 10s. Yes. So nothing doing there. Then moving into the Doomsday Machine's turn, it gets 4 attacks. I'm using red, as you can imagine, to represent my units. Black dice will represent the Doomsday Machine. Needs a 5 or less to hit the base, and a 6 or less to hit everything else. 9, 3, 8, 5. Okay, so it gets 2 hits out of that. It's going to assign both of them to the base. Is how we're going to do that. We're trying to use a little bit of common sense. So the base now has 2 hits on it, 1 more and it's destroyed. Coming back to the base's turn, we need a 7 or less to hit the Doomsday Machine. That's a 7, so that's another hit on the Doomsday Machine. Battlecruiser 1 needs a 5 or less to hit. That's a 4, so that's another hit on the Doomsday Machine. Battlecruiser also needs a 5 or less. That's a 5, so that's another hit. Cruiser needs a 4 or less. That's a 1, so that's 6 hits. 1 more and the Doomsday Machine's taken out. Let's see what happens with the Doomsday Machine, though, with its 4 attacks. Let's see, 10, 6, 5, 7. Okay, so base 2 has been destroyed, and 1 damage on Battlecruiser 1. That's how we're going to assign that. So those dice are gone, which is unfortunate, but again, nothing we can do there. Battlecruiser 1 needs a 5 or less to take out this first Doomsday Machine. That's a 6, so not happening there. Battlecruiser 2 needs a 5 or less. That's a 7. Cruiser 1 needs a 4 or less. That's a 10. You gotta be kidding me. Doomsday Machine. Come on, high. So, of course, we roll all low rolls. Battlecruiser 1 is destroyed, Battlecruiser 2 is destroyed, and Cruiser 1 has 1 hit on it. So the Cruiser now has got to be the hero of the day. That's called a major problem. Because Cruiser 1 hits on a 4 or less. And it's got 1 hit left. Delightful. Come on, Cruiser 1. We need a 4 or less. We gotta have this. Give me a break. I'm pretty sure Cruiser 1 is getting flattened unless we pray for all high rolls. And in the least shocking news since hearing about the sunrise this morning, Cruiser 1 is destroyed and Vortigern is going to go with it. That's a problem. So Vortigern is going to get taken out, and Doomsday Machine 1 will heal 2 damage. So it will go back up to Vortigern, or where Vortigern used to be, I should say. Delightful. So let's move back up to the... So I'll pull all of this off shot, then we'll move back up to the board and see what we're doing here. To put it mildly, we have a major problem on our hands. We're collecting colony income, though. We get 25, 35. Plus another 5 for minerals, and we get a space wreck. So we're going up to 44. We have no maintenance right now, but that mineral will come off the board, and we'll roll for our space wreck. hopefully we can get something useful out of this. Ten is Shipyard, which Shipyard 3 now lets me build 2 hull points per shipyard. So that could actually be very helpful here. We don't have any maintenance to worry about, so we're fine there. We've got 2 shipyards at Altair. Oh, we also, okay, so that was the space wreck that we just rolled for. So now we can build more hull size. Okay. So, oh, that goes in the deep space bag. Never mind. So now I think we're back to our original plan of trying to defend Sheldon. But we've also got Doomsday Machine 2 coming out, and 3 is going to be joining the party soon. So, keeping all of that in mind, now I definitely think we need to start developing our fleet. So with that, where am I at? Ship size 4. I need to build more firepower is what I need to do. So, I'm going to spend 20 CP to upgrade to ship size 5. So now I can start building battleships. And I think well, I think we're getting ready for defense. I think we're probably going to have to defend Sheldon next. So I think with that in mind, I've got a base up there already. Let's see. Let's go. We can't spend 27. We're going to be cleaned out after that. Let's go. Let's go 20 for a. Let's go 20 for a battleship. That can go back to the red bag. And then I think that will be it for ship spending. So we'll have 4. We've incurred a maintenance increase of 3. And I'm going to put the battleship at Sheldon, since that's where I'm planning on defending that. Then we don't have any colonies to increase. We're into round 10 now with 4 CP carryover. And I think this round is probably going to be all about developing fleet. So here's the problem that we ran into. I was thinking about this as I was taking a little bit of a break as we're getting ready for turn 1. The problem here is now I'm very much caught in a pincer, because I've got Doomsday Machine 1 is going to be heading up for Sheldon, which is where we're going to defend, and then I've got Doomsday Machine 2 coming over toward Altair. But the gamble was if I stop this side of the pincer, then I end up in a situation where, okay, now where if I stop that, I stop that side of the pincer, and then I can rush to deal with Doomsday Machine 2, probably by playing defense at Altair, but that remains to be seen. We also still have Doomsday Machine 3 coming out in the next round, not in this coming economic phase, but in the next one. So we very much need to worry about that. Anyway, what are we doing here? I think the miner is going to go, I think miner 2 is going to go try to get some of these 10 minerals. I'm going to gamble that Doomsday Machine 3 doesn't come out here. Miner 1 is going to bring these 5 minerals into Cerberus. Then I think everything else is just going to stay put. So we're going to blast through turn 2. Miner 2 is going to go grab some of these 10 minerals. Miner 1 is going to go out for more minerals. And then turn 3, boom, boom. Nice and short. Then in the economic phase, Doomsday Machine 2 moves. It's not affected by... Doomsday Machines aren't affected by terrain markers, so anything like Lost in Space, it wouldn't be affected by. Yep. Okay. And then Doomsday Machine 1 is moving up toward Sheldon, moving into K9. Then for colony income, we've got 1535. Plus 5 is 44 for mineral income here. Then we pay a maintenance cost of 3 for the battleship. We've got 41 to spend, and this is going to be nothing but ships. Question is, how big do I want to go with these ships? Because I want as much firepower as I can get. Unfortunately, I can't build dreadnoughts yet, which is probably what I'm going to need to stop these doomsday machines. But I can get another battleship. And what else do I want? So that's going to be 20 for a battleship. I've got 21 more to buy with. That's going to be a battle cruiser. Actually, could that be another base instead? That might be better. I can't do both. But I've got 21 left. We do also have attack strength 1, attack upgrade 1. Do I just want to throw more bodies at the problem of Doomsday Machine 1 and hope we can get there? Or do we need the bigger firepower? I think ultimately we're going to have our last stand at Altair. So we do need to... we do need to keep that in mind. You know what? I think the better plan here is, once I stop dropping this shit, I think the better plan here is going to be to get ready for what I'm expecting to be that last stand at Altair. So I'm going to spend 12 to get a base as well. So that's going to be a total of 32 I'm spending, which will give me 9 carryover. I've incurred an increase of 3. The base will go to Altair. The battleship will go to Sheldon, which we're going to have to hope that we can get rid of that Doomsday Machine, especially since it's got some damage on it already. So I think we're relying on that fact here. Anyway, we don't have any colonies to increase, so we're into turn 11, where we're going to see our last Doomsday Machine come out. Moving into turn 1, this is going to be all in the miners. That was uneventful. Turn 2, starting to bring minerals in. Miner 1 will get to Cerberus with 5 minerals, and nothing else is moving there. Turn 3, Miner 2 is going to go back into deep space. We're gambling here that the last Doomsday Machine, which is going to be the strongest of the bunch, it's coming out with a strength of 6, so it's going to have B9, 3 defense, 9 hull size, 5 attacks. Yikes. Which is coming out now. Once I find my cup. $10. Oh, that's bad. So Doomsday Machine 3 is coming out there. Doomsday Machine 2 moves to L4. And then Doomsday Machine 1 is going to move into Sheldon. And I'm going to set up our next battle sequence. So hold on while I do that. Same dice setup as before, but our situation is a lot more perilous. So if we lose Sheldon, I wouldn't say we just lose the game, but we're not in very good shape either. So we need to be able to hit this. Green dice is before what they hit on, what we hit the Doomsday Machine on. Gold on what the Doomsday Machine hits each ship on. So base 1 needs a 7 or less. We need 3 more hits to take out Doomsday Machine 1. That's a 6, so that's another hit. That's a hit on the Doomsday Machine. Battleship 1 needs a 5 or less. That's an 8, nothing doing there. Battleship 2 needs a 5 or less as well. That's a 9, nothing doing there. And yes, I've already taken attack and defense strength into account when I set up the dice. Shipyard 1 needs a 3 or less. That's a 6, nothing doing there. Doomsday Machine 1 needs the gold dice to hit, and it gets 4 attacks. Okay, so it does 1 hit on the... so it takes out the shipyard, which is unfortunate there. All right, so those dice can come out of the way because that's the only thing it could hit with its roll. And the shipyard only had a hull size of 1. All right, so the Doomsday Machine can move there. Come on, guys, we need 2 more hits against this Doomsday Machine. We're back to base 1. It needs a 5 or less. That's a 1, so that's another hit on the Doomsday Machine. Battleship needs a 5 or less. Come on, guys, we need this. That's a 3, so we've taken out Doomsday Machine 1, which means we can move back up to the board and see what we're doing there. I would be lying if I said Sheldon was anything even remotely resembling Out of the Woods yet. Because looking at our current situation, we are still very much caught in a pincer, and our next battle is going to be with Doomsday Machine 3, probably at Sheldon, because this will actually get over to the black hole, but this will get to Sheldon first. So we're going to have another battle over at Sheldon. With that in mind, I need to develop Sheldon more, and then get a force over that can defend Altair, because that's what we're looking at here. Colony income... 2535 plus another 5. We're going to be 49. Maintenance cost on the battleships is 3, so we're paying a total of 6. 43 to spend. Okay, so I think now I want all the firepower. I'm definitely getting to a point where I want all the firepower I can find. And then some, to be perfectly honest. So, let's see. Shipyards, I can build 2. I would need to spend 20 to be able to start building dreadnoughts. And we might be at a point where we need dreadnoughts. So, So 20 to to get ship... I would be 1 short of being able to build my first dreadnought, but I could definitely build another battleship, which I am not remotely cold to that idea at all. But I need to upgrade... Now, my shipyards are up as high as I can get them. So... Ow. Okay. Which means I would need to build those dreadnoughts at Altair, which I could do. So I am going to upgrade to ship size 6. So I can build dreadnoughts for 20. And then with 23 left, I think it's going to be... another battleship. Because I want to be able to start building up... I need to start building up my fleet a lot more. So the battleship is going to go up to Altair. And I'll plan on motoring that over to Sheldon as fast as I can. I'll be carrying 3 CP in to round 12, which is where we're going now. I also need to rebuild that shipyard that got destroyed at Sheldon. So, in turn 1, Miner 1 is going to move to H6. Miner 2 is going to move up to I6 so we can get those 10 minerals home. Battleship 3 is going to move over to L8. Then in turn 2, Miner 2 is going to bring those 10 minerals up to Cerberus. Miner 1 is going to move down to Deneb. Turn 3, Miner 1 is going to grab the 10 minerals here. Miner 2 really doesn't have much to do right now, so it's just going to move over to Antares. And then Battleship 3 is going to move over to Sheldon. Alright, then we're into the economic phase. That was very quick. Doomsday Machine 2 moving there. Doomsday Machine 3 moving into L10 and getting ready for battle at Sheldon. Collecting colony income, we have 2535. Then we have 10 from the minerals coming in, which will give me a total of 48 heading in, but I do have to pay maintenance on my 3 battleships. I'm going to have to pay 9 maintenance for that, which will bring me to 37. And then what to do with 37 as we purchase units and tech. Doomsday Machine 3 is going to hit like a truck. Let's just call a spade on that right now. That thing is going to hit like a truck. And it's going to be B9, 3 defense, 9 hull size, 5 attacks. Yikes. We are going to be in a very bad way coming out of battle with that, I'm sure, if we survive. So, question is, do we try to bury it in bodies, or do we upgrade for it? And I need to rebuild that shipyard too. So I think we're going to go attack level 2 and rebuild the shipyard. So that's 30 and 6. So we'll be carrying 1 CP into round 13. The shipyard is going to go back to Sheldon, where it just was. We're going to have to gamble that the battleships can actually hit hard enough to get past Doomsday Machine 3. But again, strongest one of the bunch, so that's going to be a big ask. Let's see what happens in round 13, though, which is probably going to determine if we win this game or not. So let's move into round 13. Unfortunately, there isn't much I can do to get more ready for the battle at Sheldon, because I've done all I can there, and that Doomsday Machine 3 is going to hurt. So, best I can do here is in turn 1, Miner 1 is going to start coming back with 10 minerals. That largely feels inconsequential right now. Miner 2 is again kind of floating with nothing else to do. Turn 2, Miner 1 is moving up toward Cerberus. Turn 3, moving over to I6. Then into the economic phase, Doomsday Machine 2 moving over to Altair, and then Doomsday Machine 3 is heading into Sheldon. So let's set the battle up there, and we'll see what we do here. Situation here is actually really simple. If we don't survive this battle, we're probably going to lose this game, because we'll have to muster a defense of Altair, but we're not going to have much to throw at it, because Doomsday Machine 2 will bear down on us. If we survive, we can get this force minus the shipyard over to Altair to defend that, and hopefully get more ships up there for Doomsday Machine 2. Base 1 is up first. It needs a 6 or less to hit, and we need to do 9 damage. We need to do 9 hits to the Doomsday Machine to take it out. There's 1. We've got a long road to go. Battleships all need 4 or less to hit. There's 2. Battleship 2. Nope. Battleship 1. Nope. Doomsday Machine needs 5s to hit everything except the 5s or less to hit everything except the shipyards. It'll take a 9 or less on the shipyard. Let's see, that one's cocked, but I don't think it's going to matter. All right, so that's a 6. So actually it does take out the... So it will take out the shipyard, and it'll do 1 hit to the base. Because it'll go after... Common sense says it'll go after the strongest unit. So that's the shipyard flattened, which is unfortunate. Which means those 2 dice can go away. Now if we can keep rolling high like that, that would be great. Back to base 1, which needs a... Let me readjust that die. Which needs a 6 or less to hit. Alright, that's another hit on the Doomsday Machine. Oop, wrong die. Wrong thing I'm moving. Battleship 3 needs a 4 or less. That's a 7, no dice. 4 or less on Battleship 2. That's a 1, so that's another hit on the Doomsday Machine. Battleship 1. That's a hit. So 5 hits on the Doomsday Machine. Now it needs 5s or less to hit everything. Wow, that's a roll. Okay, so it'll flatten the base with 2 more hits, and then deal 2 to Battleship 3. We're just gonna work from left to right because now it doesn't really matter once it flattened the base. So this is bad. Now we're over to the battleships. All of them need 4 or less to hit. Technically, I could roll all 3 of these at the same time, which, nah, I'm not going to worry about that. Builds the drama a little more this way. 9, nothing doing there. Battleship 2. Battleship 1. Okay, there's a hit. Doomsday Machine, the Doomsday Machine. Okay, so it takes out Battleship 3 and does 1 damage to Battleship 2. It's very much starting to run the gauntlet here, which this is a big problem. All right. So basically we need to do 3 hits and survive a minimum of one more attack. There's another hit on the Doomsday Machine. Nope. Let's see what happens on the Doomsday Machine's attack. Okay, that's not completely garbage. It's just mostly garbage. But it will be enough to... It will be enough to take out Battleship 2, unfortunately. But at least no damage to Battleship 1 yet. That won't last long, though, spoiler alert. So now we need Battleship 1 to do 2 hits and survive 2 attacks. The odds of that are not great, let's face it. That's not helpful. And that's doom for Battleship 1. So Doomsday Machine 3 will heal 2 damage. Because it will also destroy Sheldon. Actually, let me move that back up so I don't forget where it's going. And then Sheldon is going to go toodaloo. And we'll move back up to the board to see what we can do about salvaging this disaster. Defending Vortigern, it turns out, was actually a terrible idea. I should have just sacrificed it and built up my defenses around Sheldon. But the dice didn't cooperate with me on the defense of Vortigern. It almost worked out, but unfortunately, almost doesn't count. So now we're into colony income, which is heavily reduced. We have 20, 25, 30. No mineral income. So we're at 31, and this is going to be all ships. Unfortunately, I can't really do much for 31. Well, I can buy a base. I'm going to buy another base and put that at Altair. Actually, technically, it's buy a base. So it's going to be, 12 for the base. The only good thing about that is I have no maintenance costs right now. So 12 for the base. And I think, best I can do is destroyers right now. Because I've only got 31. I think right now I just have to really try to bury the problem in bodies. That'll bring me down to 19. I think it's just going to be another battle cruiser. I think that's really all I can do right now. So that'll bring me up to 27. Which means I'll carry 4 into round 14. All of those are going straight to Altair because we know we've got a reckoning coming with Doomsday Machine 2. And I expect round 14 to be very short. We're going to blow through most likely these 3 turns. Miner 1's going to move up to Cerberus with the 10 minerals. Miner 2 is just kind of sitting there twiddling its thumbs. Turn 2, both miners are twiddling their thumbs right now. Turn 3, there's really nothing to do here. So now we're into the economic phase. That was lightning quick. Doomsday Machine 3 moves over to L8 with 5 damage on it. Doomsday Machine 2 moves into Altair. So we need to see if we can take that out. We'll move down and get the battle all set up. The situation here is as simple as it comes. We either destroy Altair or we either save Altair or we lose the game trying. Base 1, and we need to do 8 hits to Doomsday Machine 2. Base 1 hits on a 9 or less. That's a 4, so that'll be a hit. Base 2, same thing. That's another hit. Battle Cruiser 1 on a 7 or less. That's a 5. That'll be a 3rd hit. 5 or less for the shipyards. Nope. Shipyard 4. Nope. Doomsday Machine 2 hits on the gold dice. Let's see, 7. Okay, so it can take out both of the shipyards. You can take out both of the shipyards, and it'll do a damage to base 1. Took out my 2 weakest units, but unfortunately, the way the dice have been rolling today, we're still far from out of the woods. We can bring those a little bit closer now. Over to base 1. That's a hit. Base 2. That's another hit. Battlecruiser 1 needs a 7 or less. That's a 9. 4 attacks from the Doomsday Machine. Oh, that's a problem. So base 1 is gone. And we do 2 damage to base... Actually, yeah, 2 damage to base 2. So we are up a creek here, folks. This is not pretty at all. Once again, we're now in a situation where we need to survive 2 attacks. But our odds are very long at that. That's a 6th hit on Doomsday Machine 2, and a 7 or less on Battlecruiser 1. That's a hit. Now for the moment of truth. 3 hits and we lose the game. Okay, we're still sort of in it. Base 2 is gone. But we're still in a situation where we have to survive, where we have to land a hit. We have to land a hit before the Doomsday Machine does. Unfortunately, we're rolling a lot fewer dice than the Doomsday Machine is. But we also only need to score 1 more hit. Let's see who gets the first hit. It'll be us, surprisingly, so we will destroy Doomsday Machine 2. But we are very much up a creek, so we won't worry about healing there. Let's move back up to the board and see what we can do about salvaging this mess. With Doomsday Machine still bearing down on us, there's probably not much we can do at this point, but we're going to try. So going into colony income, we get 2530 for that. Plus 10 from the minerals is 44. Once again, we have no income to worry about. We have no maintenance to worry about, so we have 44 to spend. Let's see, both of our bases got flattened, so that'll be 24 at least to place out the 2 bases again. Wait, bases don't need... Do bases need shipyards? Because if they do, then we are in a whole lot of trouble. Bases are not built by shipyards. Oh, we can only have 1 base in a single hex. Whoops. Well, we're definitely going to be building 1 base out there anyway. So we're going to 12 for that. Then we only have the 1 shipyard active at Cerberus. We're definitely going to build something there. I think we're going to spend 15 to build another battlecruiser there. So we'll spend 15 to build another battlecruiser. That base will go back. And let's see, that's going to leave me with another 27. I'm going to have 27 from 44 is 17 left to spend. Which I think is going to be another shipyard. Actually, 17. I can't do anything with technology with that. I think it's just going to be... Do I even bother with shipyards at this point? Honestly, I might as well. Sure, why not? I need all the firepower I can get here. So that'll be 39 total. That'll be 39 total, which will leave me 5 for carryover. And we're incurring a maintenance cost increase of 2 from the battlecruiser. Which means I have 5 I'm carrying over into round 15. So now we place units. Base going to Altair, shipyard to Altair, and the battle cruiser is going to Cerberus, which is going to be making a beeline for Altair to join the party as well. Which, let's go into round 15 and see if we can somehow win this game. Once again, we're going to speed through the 3 turns. Turn 1, Battlecruiser 2 moves up to Essen. Turn 2, it's going to join the party at Altair. And we'll blow through turn 3 because the only thing that's going to matter is coming up now in the economic phase, as the Doomsday Machine 3 is going to move into Altair. So, let me set up the battle and we'll see about winning this game. Same situation as the last turn. This one's for all the marbles. Base 1 needs a 6 or less to hit, and the Doomsday Machine has 5 damage on it. We need to do 9 to take it out. That's a 2, so that's that's a damage. Battlecruiser 1 needs a 4 or less. That's a 3, so that's another hit. Battlecruiser 2. Nope. Doomsday Machine hits on the gold dice. Alright, the 8s are enough to take out the 8's enough to take out the shipyard. The 8 doesn't do anything, and then we've got enough hits to wipe out base 1. That's bad. And now the battle cruisers need to be heroes, or else we lose. Four or less. That's a 6 and 4 or less. That's a 5. Delightful. 4 hits and we lose with the Doomsday Machine. Okay, we are... Well, we're not real great. Actually, we've got... I think we just lose here. So the 8 is in there. So the 8 comes out. That doesn't do anything. And yep, that's 4 hits. That'll take out both of the battle cruisers. Altair will be destroyed, and we will lose the game with Doomsday Machine 3 managing to pull it out there at the end. So, let's move back up top to wrap this video up. In hindsight now, I realize that defending Vortigern that far forward was a mistake. I should have let Vortigern go and then prepared the defenses at Sheldon. I would have had more ships to throw at Doomsday Machine 1 if I would have sacrificed Vortigern and let Sheldon be where we made our first stand. Still, we did almost pull that one off in my defense. But that will do it for this playthrough of Space Empires 4X. Later this afternoon, we're going to have Game 1 of the World Series between the 1991 World Series between the Oakland Athletics and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Dave Stewart will be going for the A's, and Doug Drabeck will be going for the Pirates as I do reset the rotations for the new series. Wednesday, I'm thinking about what I'm playing on Wednesday. I've got Astronauts scheduled, but I'm thinking I might switch over to Star Wars The Clone Wars, because I know coming up in the off-season after the 91 replay is over, I'm going to have time to learn some new games, and Astronauts is one that I definitely want to learn. So I may switch that out, but I'll decide. I'll know by the time I go live by the time I start recording on Wednesday what I'm playing. So stand by for that. Saturday Mystical Munchies will continue out of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Blackspire Outpost cookbook with the side roasted Kajaka root. Next week we're playing Star Wars Outer Rim. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.